So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about why women are flaking on you when it comes to dating apps and how to fix it. And it's not because you don't look like a male model about to be a part of an Abercrombie campaign. It's not because you're not 6 foot plus tall. It's not because you're not rich or because you don't have status or anything like that. A lot of the reasons why women may flake on you may have really nothing to do with you. Like, let's say she's just having a bad day. Maybe she received some bad news from her job or from a friend or a family member. That toxic ex is trying to weasel his way back in and it is hitting her up. Like, there could be 100 different reasons why a woman flakes on you. But there are certain things that I've seen that men have done, guys that I've coached inside my Inbound Attraction Blueprint program, where I show men how to become the most attractive version of themselves physically, mentally, emotionally, just become that holistic, attractive Renaissance man. And one of the methods that I implement in their dating life is I help them create an attractive dating app profile that is attracting attractive, high interest women to them on autopilot daily. And this is how men are able to book out their calendars with dates. I'm actually going to show you a pretty cool testimonial that one of my clients gave me earlier this morning. It was pretty sick. But with that being said, before I get into that, there's a lot of things that I've noticed that guys were doing that was in their control, but they were making minute mistakes that caused women to flake on them. And then once we corrected them, not only were they really not getting flaked on, but they were able to fill their calendar up with dates. So I'm gonna be talking about the 6 different things that guys do that cause them to have women flake on them. And these could be one of the 6, if not maybe even all 6 of the things that maybe you're doing right now that you're not conscious of that could be causing women to flake on you and you don't even know it. So before we get into those 6 different points, I want to highlight one of my clients just to keep his name and his information private. We'll just say his name is E. And E's a pretty cool dude, man. He's 35 years old. He just got out of a long-term relationship, a long-term marriage actually. He's recently divorced and he joined IAB, the Inbound Attraction Blueprint program. And I believe E joined the Inbound Attraction Blueprint program right after he got out of his divorce. I believe he was married for around 10 years and he joined the program right after he got out of the divorce. He wanted to get back into the dating game, and especially like whether you've been broken up with a girlfriend you were in a long-term relationship with, or if you're coming out of a divorce, it can be kind of hard to get back into the dating game. It can be hard mentally, physically, emotionally. It can be very hard to go from being in a long-term relationship where you're in a relationship with one person versus you're getting back out there on the dating game and having to adapt. So that can be very hard. And that's one of the things I help men inside my program like E. And this is what he sent me at this point in the recording at 1:11 a.m. He said, just got back home from this date. It went well, and I'm going to try for date number 2 thanks to IB and Jordan. And he has his screenshot of the conversation with the girl that he went on a date with from Hinge. I'm not going to reveal that, but this goes to show you, man, that when you have a process in place, when you know what you're doing, when you have someone guiding you, when you have a proven plan that is designed to get you effective results as far as attractive women coming to you, and then having a step-by-step process to actually landing dates with these women, bro, again, it's very easy to fill your calendar up with dates. It's very easy to have a thriving and abundant dating life. You don't have to be the most attractive guy, the tallest guy, the richest guy. You don't have to have social media status and millions of followers like how a lot of these red pill dating coaches will say. You just have to have the right system in place. And when you have the right system in place and you maximize everything that's in your control, bro, you're gonna kill it, like my boy E. So E, shout out to you, bro. You're an absolute beast. Now, with that being said, let's go into the 6 different reasons why a woman may flake on you when it comes to dating apps, but these things are in your control. So number 1 is that you are more than likely prioritizing just the hottest women. That's what a lot of guys do. A lot of guys do this in person. They do this on dating apps, Instagram. Guys try to go for the hottest women, which that's not an issue itself, but typically if the hottest women aren't showing you high interest, high attraction, if they're not making themselves available to you, it's going to be very hard to get them on a date with you because you're kind of already starting from a losing position, or at the very least, you're not starting from an advantageous position. You're not starting from a position where the woman is highly interested in you, attracted to you, or like emotionally available. She's in the right headspace to go out on a date with you, to like want to meet new people. She's not really putting a lot of effort in, so you're the one that has to really get things moving along. Like, women that make your life a lot harder, women that feel like it's just pulling teeth just to get them out, on a date. Those are the women that are already going to be looking for reasons, like the minute, dumbest reasons to flake on you. So what I always suggest that men do is not to go for like unattractive women or women that they're not feeling, but don't just prioritize the hottest women. Try to find a healthy balance where you come across a woman that is attractive, like, you know, you would be cool with being seen out in public with them. That's kind of like my test to guys, like, okay, 2 tests. Will you be cool with being seen out with her in public by like friends or just people in general? Yes. Okay. Would your body respond in the right way when it comes to intimacy with her? If they can check off those 2 boxes, like, okay, cool, we're going where we need to go. But no, I'm not saying don't go for like women that you don't find attractive or anything like that, but you want to find a healthy balance of a woman that is attractive to you, that you're into, she's your type, you'd be good being seen out in public with her, you're actually feeling her on a physical level, and your body would also respond in the proper ways when it comes to intimacy, right? You know what I'm talking about. But beyond that, you want to be looking to see, okay, is this woman showcasing high interest in you? Is she showcasing attraction for you? Is she responding to your messages quick? Is she giving you more than like 1 to 3 worded responses? Is she giving you like emojis? Is she showcasing optimism? Is she making herself available to you? Does she seem excited? Does she seem like she really does want to talk to you? That she actually wants to meet up with you? Is she giving you her availability? You see what I'm saying? Like, you want to find all of these different cues that a woman is feeling you. Like, overall, is she being open and receptive to you? If this girl is not only attractive to you, but she's also being open and receptive, these are typically going to be the best women to set things up with and go on a date with, because not only do you find them physically attractive, but they more than likely find you attractive as well, but they also have high interest in you. They want to see you, right? You want to simply deal with women that want to deal with you, bro, at the end of the day, because these women are just going to be the best type of women to deal with because they want to be around you. So don't just focus on going after the hottest women. Focus on the women that are not only physically attractive to you, maybe they're not the baddest, but they're physically attractive, but also they're giving you the best energy overall. They're open, they're receptive, they're investing in the conversation, they're showcasing high interest as far as just overall, like, they desire to want to go out on a date with you, spend time with you, and get to know you a little bit more, right? You're seeing that they're really open and receptive to you. Focus on those type of women and not just the hottest women that are barely giving you any type of attention, because that's typically the type of women that men go for generally. They try to compete in a weight class that they're not used to competing in, and then that's why they're going to get destroyed in the ring, in the octagon. So focus on women who are showcasing high interest and high attraction for you, instead of just a hot woman that is barely giving you any type of interest at all. At best, it's low to mid interest. So moving on to point number 2 is that a lot of guys have boring, aimless conversations on dating apps that just kill attraction, kill interest, it kills curiosity, it overall lowers the attraction that the woman may have had for you in the beginning. It's going to lower her attraction and interest in you to where she doesn't really have any desire to meet up with you. So a lot of guys will probably just open up with the standard like, hey, how's your day going? How's your week going? Everybody's asking that. Every dude on there is asking the same thing. What I've typically have found that works well with dating apps is that, as far as like the conversation goes, I like to be playful. And one of the things that I'll do, and I know this works really well with women, is that I like to try to make different callbacks to their profile. You actually showcase to them that you took time to really look at their profile, analyze their profile, and you make a callback to something specific about their profile, and you kind of create a conversation around that. And the reason why that works so well with women is because most guys aren't doing that. Most guys just look at the woman, just sees her beauty, doesn't really take in a lot of other aspects of her profile, and find different ways to start a conversation or open up the conversation in a way where it's not just about her looks. Most guys are just sending her like heart eye emojis or just saying wild ass shit and just throwing shit at a wall and seeing if it sticks. Like, if I see that a woman is wearing nice clothes, let's say that she's well dressed, let's say that she has a picture of her like wearing a nice outfit out to dinner with friends, she likes to work out, let's say that she has a picture of her working out or a video of her working out, and let's say that she has a prompt about how she loves drinking coffee and she is a caffeine addict, I may say something like, oh, she likes to work out, she likes to dress up, and she's a caffeine addict like myself. We may just get along. I think we would get along just fine. something like that, for example. And that will get a very high response rate. Women will be like, oh, we may very well just get along, or oh, it looks like we may have to test this out in person, which then makes it easier to segue the conversation to us meeting up for a date, for a meetup, and transitioning the conversation off the app. It's very seamless, it's very smooth. But I may say something like that, and that works very well because it shows that, again, you took the time to analyze and see different aspects of the woman beyond her looks, like her interests, her hobbies. And you're making these observational assumptions, which she will appreciate, but she can also either confirm those assumptions, observations, whatever. She can be like, I definitely do enjoy doing this. I do love to go out from time to time and dress up, blah, 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 blah. She'll kind of say something like that. And then you can kind of piggyback off of what she said. Like, okay, well, maybe we need to get together sometime and wear our best and flex on everybody, something like that. I'm just giving you an example, just as rolling off the dome. You're being playful. You're kind of piggyback off in what she's saying, but you're showcasing her that you took time to analyze her profile. Most guys don't do this. But also your opener too, with the opener, like I said earlier, that's going to catch her attention as well, because that's different than what most guys are saying in the messages. Most guys are being like, oh, you're hot as hell. You're so sexy. I would do this to you if I had a chance. Like crazy shit that they would be too damn scared to say in person. You know what I mean? Just wild ass shit that shows that they lack immaturity. They lack masculinity. They lack the ability to be analytical in the sense of looking at her profile, not taking in everything that they see in her profile and try to come up with a clever opener based on the stuff that she has in her profile. That's what I'm saying, man. That's why like my clients are getting results, by the way, because this is how my mind works. I have the gift of being observational, analytical, being able to just pinpoint different details about a woman beyond her looks, and that just drives women absolutely crazy in a good way. So if you know how to do that with your openers and just in person in general, right? But once you know how to do this, once you have a system in place and a process in place to do it, it's pretty easy. You don't have to be super smart to do this. Another thing about where guys mess up with the conversation is that they don't have any type of direction of where they want to take the conversation. They don't know what they're doing. They're just talking about random ass shit. They're not being strategic. They're not being intentional. They don't have a sense of direction. They're not showcasing leadership. That's another thing, is that one of the biggest compliments that women will give me when it comes to my conversation through Hinge or through whatever dating app in terms of like setting up the date is that they will compliment me on just leading the whole entire interaction. Like, yeah, like I really liked how you knew where you wanted to go. You gave me different days and times that worked best for you and my schedule, and you had everything planned out for me and I didn't have to think of anything. Like I really like that, because most guys don't do that. That's some basic shit that I know you hear in the self-improvement dating space, like, oh, be a masculine man, be a leader, you figure out all this stuff for her, blah, 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 blah. But you'd be surprised to know how many guys are actually implementing this in real life, right? So when you can do a lot of these basic fundamental things, but you're stacking all these fundamentals one after the other, bro, you're gonna stand out as an elite man. And most guys don't do this. Most guys are just having circular conversations, just talking about random stuff. And that's why the conversations really go cold. They go nowhere because the guy had no intent, no strategy before the conversation even started. See, a lot of the conversation starts before the actual conversation starts. I repeat, the conversation starts before the actual keyword actual conversation starts. It's about your profile, the type of pictures that you have, the prompts that you have, everything's strategic, right? If you know what you're doing, you can make your conversations a lot easier to have and transition them off the app and set them up to dates. Like you can rinse and repeat this process once you have it. So keep all this in mind. And then the last thing before we move on is try not to talk too much on the actual dating app. You want to save more of the conversation for either like a phone call, FaceTime call, and then of course in person during the date. Look to be transitioning the girl off the app after you send, let's say 5 to 10 messages from your end. Look to be transitioning things off the app, because at this point, if your conversations are going beyond 5 to 10 messages sent from your end, then you're running the risk of just talking about shit that's unnecessary, and you should already be transitioning the girl off the app, right? Because if you're not doing this, like when women see that guys are just having circular conversation, the guy looks like he doesn't know what he's doing, he doesn't know where to go with the conversation, just looks like he has no intent, no sense of direction, aka a lack of leadership, she's gonna start to lose interest and attraction, is probably gonna talk to somebody else that is showcasing a little bit more leadership and decisiveness, right? So keep that in mind. Point number 3 is not having a nurturing process to stand out. Because you have to understand, like, when women run the risk of coming across men that could potentially harm them, that could be crazy. Men like us, men, we're focused on if the woman's going to catfish us. Women, on the other hand, are worried about guys who could also be catfishing them, but also guys that could be crazy, that could potentially harm them. They're weirdos. You know, it's very real and understandable concerns that they have. That could also be a reason why maybe a woman will flake, is that there's not, you didn't build a sense of comfort with her. Now, the best way that I find that this works, bro, I'm telling you, start doing this, start implementing this. And once you implement what I'm about to tell you, come back to this video and let me know what the results were. But the best way I found to build comfort with women is to do FaceTime calls. Is to pull up on FaceTime, because it does a few things. Number one, you stand out from all the other men, because most guys aren't doing this. Most guys would rather just kind of hide behind the keyboard, hide behind the text. They want to do all this texting and not want to like talk to her or anything like that. So therefore, you're going to stand out from all the other guys. So that's number one. Number two, you're showcasing restraint and you're slowing the pace of the interaction down, which builds anticipation, attraction, and intrigue. How? What do I mean by this? Well, by you being like, well, hey, listen, like, let's say you just transition the girl off the app and you're about to set up a date. Like, you guys are about to like really, you know, finalize the logistics. Let's say a girl texted me like, hey, Jordan, it's Samantha from Hinge. Right? I may say, hey, Samantha, what's going on? Like, what are you getting into right now? So, a little small talk, you know, oh, I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. You know, what are you doing? Oh, I'm up to, you know, I'm doing this. I just got done doing this. I'm about to do this. By the way, I'll send a separate message. By the way, before we meet up in person, would you be cool if we hopped on like a quick 5 to 10 minute FaceTime call? That way we can just fill out the vibes. And then I may say something else just to kind of go to finish that off. I may say like, you can never be too safe when it comes to dating apps. That's what I like to say. Use that. I don't care. Take that and implement it. For the guys who aren't just going to watch this video, but also watch this video and implement what I say, go and use that and watch the results that you start to get. I guarantee you'll get results, because what girls are going to be like, they're going to be like, okay, hold on. Most guys are so damn thirsty and ready and fast to meet up with me. They're not even worried about their own safety. They're not worried about mine, because they're so damn thirsty. They're so damn hooked on my beauty that they don't even think of anything else. They don't assess anything. They don't assess, you know, the situation. They're not thinking about these things, which means that I can't really trust their leadership. I can't trust their awareness, their decisiveness, their intent, their ability to form strategy. I can't trust this man because he's just going in blind. He's just rushing in. See, ooh, bro, okay. So for my Star Wars fans, you're gonna love this. So I'm not trying to go off topic, but for anyone that's into Star Wars, if you want to know my top 3 favorite characters of all time, Anakin Skywalker, number 1, Boba Fett, number 2, Luke Skywalker at number 3. But anyways, most guys are like Anakin in the Attack of the Clones when him and Obi-Wan are about to go fight Dooku, and then Anakin was like, I'm taking him now. And Obi-Wan was like, no, Anakin, no. And then Dooku's just like, and then Anakin's like, ah. And then he's knocked out for almost like 10 minutes, right? Because Anakin was rushing in. He was rushing in, no strategy, no intent, wasn't trying to form a game plan, wasn't worried about his safety. He compromised Obi-Wan by making Obi-Wan having to go up against Dooku 1-to-1. And obviously Dooku trained Qui-Gon Jinn, who trained Obi-Wan. So he kind of already has an understanding how Obi-Wan's dueling approach and strategy is. Obi-Wan's very defensive. That's his form. He's very defensive. I forget what form that's called, right? Anybody that's a Star Wars nerd like myself, please let me know what Obi-Wan's form is down below in the comments. But that's how most guys are. They're like Anakin in the Attack of the Clones, where Anakin rushed in and then he got hit with the Force lightning effortlessly by Dooku. And then even when Anakin had to come in and save Obi-Wan from the situation that Anakin compromised Obi-Wan in, Anakin got his arm chopped off. But then here's the thing, most guys aren't like Anakin in The Revenge of the Sith when they came across Dooku again because they were trying to save Palpatine. Anakin was like, you know, you remember when Obi-Wan was like, this time we'll do it together. And Anakin was like, I was about to say that. And then you saw how Obi-Wan got messed up, right? But Anakin was cool, calm, collected. He learned a lot since his first duel with Dooku. He's gotten a lot more powerful, more strategic, more experience from the Clone Wars. You see what I'm saying? I know I'm going on a tangent, but anyways, you gotta be more strategic. You can't just rush into shit. So women, when they see like, okay, he's not trying to rush this. He's trying to like make sure that I'm real, that, you know, he shows me that he's real, and just to fill out the vibes to make sure that it makes sense to meet up, which also shows that you're not thirsty for her, which also shows that you can exercise sexual discipline, that you can put your own safety and then the other woman's safety at the priority over attraction and lust. And what you're gonna see that a lot of women will tell you is that they'll be like, you know what, like, yeah, FaceTime is a great idea idea. FaceTiming is a great idea. Gosh, like I wish I would have thought about this sooner, because had I thought about this sooner, I could have saved myself from so many bad dates. Like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it. When are you available? And if they're acting that way, that's a really good sign. And with a FaceTime call, what happens then is that you go from being like, let's just use me for the example, you go from being Jordan from Hinge to Jordan the person, because now you guys are having dialogue, you guys are having conversation, you guys are building some rapport, you guys are building some connection. She's getting more familiar with you, a little bit more comfortable with you, which is going to then increase her desire and anticipation, assuming that she has attraction for you, high interest in you, preferably. If she enjoyed your guys' conversation on FaceTime, you're going to see that women now have a lot more desire and urgency to meet up with you because of the vibe that you guys had over FaceTime. This is how I've gotten women to like drive 2 hours to see me. Typically, whenever I do FaceTimes with women, I damn near want to say that my flake rate when I do this is 0. But you have to understand, I have a high filtration process, right? Meaning I only deal with high interest women. I only deal with women that are bringing me good energy. They're open, they're receptive to me. I'm only going out on dates with women that are willing to FaceTime. Girls that you see that are like not following your suggestion and lead when it comes to proposing the FaceTime call, and it seems like it's hard to get them to do the FaceTime call. Like maybe they can't do it right then and there when you ask, but they're like, yeah, like unfortunately I'm at work right now, or I can't at the moment, but can we do it tomorrow? That's cool. Like if they're accommodating and trying to like work with you, that's cool. Give them some leeway. But if a woman is like being very resistant towards that and pulling teeth to do that, I'm kind of like, okay, if you can't follow a simple suggestion like that, I'm cool. That's just me. But I've noticed that when there's a nurturing process in place where they build a form of emotional connection with you, they're investing in the conversation with you because they're on FaceTime talking to you, they're interacting with you, they're seeing your mannerisms, you're seeing theirs. Overall, there's just more of an actual vibe and chemistry being formed here. I've noticed that has carried a lot of weight, and that has made it so much easier for women to meet up with me on the date. And the flake rates are damn near 0 when I do this. I honestly think they are 0. And I'm not bullshitting you when I say that, but you have to remember, again, I focus on quality. My qualification process is very high. So I'm not just talking and going on dates with just any old girl. So that's why they're going to be a lot higher as well. But that's how you should be operating your dating life, in my opinion, too. Volume dating is great to get experience, to know what you like, what you don't like, and just overall just getting a lot of data and information and feedback so you can progress and thrive with your dating life based on your own personal experience. Again, keywords, personal experiences. But with that being said, eventually you want to, in my opinion, you should focus more on quality dating, because any guy that knows that, when you're dating a lot of women, that can create a lot of headache, time wasting, energy draining, money wasting even. So I say you should, in my opinion, if you really want to have a thriving, abundant dating life, transition from volume dating to more quality dating. But that's the thing that I've noticed a lot of guys lack, is that they lack a nurturing process. They lack a nurturing process where a woman can actually talk to the man, at least hear his voice. And when you don't do that, you just remain pixel. You just remain somebody that she knew from the app, but didn't actually get to know you as a person, didn't actually get to interact with you as a person. Now, moving on to number 4 is that guys schedule dates out too damn far. You may not have the entire control over this. You won't actually, because you also have to be accommodating to the woman's schedule as she should be accommodating to yours. But guys will try to schedule out dates like a week or so in advance. Now, I've noticed that you can schedule out dates in advance, like a week, almost a week and a half, with women, or hell, even 2 weeks, with women that have high interest, high attraction for you. You guys have done like a FaceTime call, you've done some form of nurturing. And typically, if it's gonna be that long, like a week and a half, 2 weeks, usually there's gonna be a little bit more dialogue in between that, but not too much. We'll get into that in a little bit. But guys try to schedule dates too far out in advance. The problem with that is that there's too much opportunity and too much room for shit to happen in between that time that can cause her to lose desire, interest, attraction, urgency, anticipation to want to meet up with you. A lot of that may not be anything that has to do with you, but maybe it's just shit that she has going on at work or in her personal life, or her friends, or again, like you got the ex that's trying to weasel back in. You just never know. So you want to strike while the iron's hot. That's a mantra, that's a saying, that's a mindset in sales. You want to strike while the iron's hot. So whenever you're setting up the date, let's say you're setting up the date on a Wednesday, like you guys are talking, you guys are FaceTiming on a Wednesday, trying to set up logistics for a date, try to set it up for that following Friday if you can. Try not to schedule it too far out. Now, again, the higher interest and attraction a woman has for you, plus you're doing a nurturing process like this, the less likely she's gonna flake, the less important this is, but this is still very important, and I'll still adopt this mindset and approach regardless, because it's better to be safe than sorry. But try to schedule the date as soon as you can, as close as you can that works for you and the girl's schedule. Because the closer you can schedule it to the time that you guys are setting up logistics, she's still kind of in that mindset, like the emotions, the desire, the interest levels, the attraction levels that she has for you at that time that you guys are setting things up. She's still closer to that overall state, which means that you're going to be able to have a higher chance of securing that date and getting her to meet up with you, because she's still in a similar state as she was then when you guys were setting up the date versus when you guys are actually meeting up with each other. But the further you set it out, the more likely she's going to flake. A better option, a better perceived option may come in, that actually gets her attention, that actually gets her out on a date faster than you did. Like, there's just a lot of opportunities for different variables to come in and just mess up your whole program. So try not to schedule out the dates too far in advance. A lot of guys do this, and this is what causes a lot of women to go cold, lose interest, flake, something came up. Now, moving on to point number 5, stop texting before the date. Stop texting before the date or in between dates with women. Why? You run the risk of doing a couple things. Number one, you run the risk of just lowering her interest, her attraction, her desire, her anticipation, and the overall urgency of her wanting to see you. Because if you're talking too much, if you're revealing too much information, you're talking about things that are just random and unnecessary, you run the risk of not being as mysterious or lowering the overall anticipation and desire to see you in person, which then lowers the urgency for her to see you in person, which then increases the probability and likelihood that she doesn't want to come out and see you. Why? She kind of already feels like she knows you a little bit, like she feels like she kind of got a sense of who you are through text because you talk too much, even though you didn't represent yourself as best as you could by talking with each other in person. And now she doesn't really feel as urgent to meet up with you. She feels like she can push you back a little bit, that maybe you guys can reschedule. She can reschedule with you a later time. There's just a lack of urgency there. Now, again, if there's high interest and high attraction and you guys did the FaceTime call, you had a nurturing process in place, again, this doesn't matter as much, because I've had times where like me and a girl were texting often for a few days before we met up. And I know based on like her schedule and mine, we couldn't meet up for a while, for like 4 or 5 days. And we were like texting throughout that time, which I still wouldn't really recommend. But I know like in a lot of those cases, the woman had high interest and attraction for me. You still want to take this serious. Also, you can run the risk of maybe saying the wrong thing or giving off the wrong impression, because it's very easy to misinterpret, misconstrue things that are said through text, or you could have said something that turned her off. Even if you didn't mean to, even if what you said wasn't how it should have been interpreted, it doesn't matter, because it's very easy to miscommunicate, misinterpret things through text. So I try just not to text that much. I try to like stay off the phone and make sure that the majority of the dialogue that we have is either through FaceTime before the date or in person for the actual date. That way it's a lot easier to understand, to interpret the correct way that someone was intending to say something, or just it's going to be a lot easier to overall understand and vibe with the person through conversation and what they're saying and what they're meaning. Also, you just come across a little bit too needy. You come across needy, almost like you don't have anything better to do than to text her, and you don't have other things going on in your life. Like you're pedestalizing her, and she's already getting a glimpse into the type of dude that you are. Like, oh, okay, he's like all these other guys I've gone on dates with that didn't lead anywhere, and these guys were just thirsty and acted like they had nothing better to do than text me. You're already giving off that impression. You're already putting yourself in that same pack as the other guys, and those other guys aren't with that girl, aren't getting results with that girl. So you don't want to be that same type of dude that's getting 0 results with her, and she's flaking on you because of that. And you're gonna see that girls are gonna be like, don't you like want to text and talk until we meet up? Because I usually tell girls like, hey, listen, like after the FaceTime, I'll let them know like, hey, listen, by the way, I'm typically not on my phone that much. You actually caught me at a good time. I'm not typically on my phone that much, but I'll reach out to you on XYZ day and we'll go from there. Sound good? And they'll be like, yeah, no worries. I actually appreciate you letting me know that. Thank you. Yeah, like I'm not really on my phone like that either, so I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, that works with me. I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. And that leads me to my 6th and final point, man, is that guys aren't really great at following up as a masculine man. So you got to dial in your follow-up, because what women will start to think is that when you guys set up the date, but like depending on how far the date is, depending on how many days are passed, if you haven't said anything, or if you haven't given any type of indication to a woman that you're going to reach out to her, you're going to follow up with her to make sure that you guys are still good for the date, the woman's going to assume that you lost interest. The woman's going to assume that you lost attraction, or that you're planning on flaking, or that you're not going to meet up, or that the date is no longer happening because maybe you haven't said anything. And what I found that works really well is, like I told you, is that like on that FaceTime call, I'll let the girl know, hey, again, I'm not on my phone that much, but I'll reach out to you on XYZ day and we'll go from there. Sound good? And then they'll be like, yeah, sound good. So for example, let's say that we're working out the logistics together on a Wednesday. The date is for a Friday. I'll be like, hey, I'll reach out to you closer to Friday and we'll go from there. So expect a text from me, okay? She'll be like, yeah, okay, cool. And let's say like I'll reach out to her Friday morning and I'll be like, hey, so-and-so, hope you're having a good morning so far. I'll text you this evening at 6 p.m. when I'm on my way to the taco spot. Sound good, right? I'm getting the confirmation. I'm asking sound good. So she confirms to me, she understands that, boom. So I'm already letting her know like early in that morning that I'm still good for the date. But notice I'm not saying like, hey, Samantha, like, are we still good for the date? Are you still good for the date tonight? Because that's needy. That comes off like you're putting her on a pedestal. It comes off as if you don't have other options, or, you know, you lack the ability to attract other women, or just putting the date and the meetup too much on a pedestal. You got to be cool. You got to be calm. You got to be relaxed, right? You got to move and carry yourself like a man with abundance that can attract options to him, because part of having that mindset and carrying yourself that way is definitely going to help you be able to make that a reality. So that's kind of like a more smooth, confident way of confirming with the woman that you guys are good for the date without you asking them, are you good for the date? Are you still on for tonight? I've had a lot of women ask me that, right? You want to be the guy that they're asking that question to. You don't want to be asking them that question, because a lot of guys are also doing that. But she'll be like, yeah, Jordan, hey, like, good morning. Hope you're having a great morning as well. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, that sounds good. I can't wait to see you tonight. Boom. You just got to follow up. Like, let women know when you're going to follow up, then actually like follow up when you say you will. Because that's another thing that women have given me compliments about, is that they're like, yeah, like I liked how even though you weren't on your phone that much, you let me know. That way you didn't leave me in the dark. But I loved how you told me you were going to follow up with me, or that you were going to reach out to me, and then you did. Because that showed congruence. That showed leadership. That showed decisiveness. They're like, okay, like I think I can trust this dude a little bit. At least you start to form trust with them. That builds some comfort, right? They're going to be more attracted to you because they're like, okay, I'm with a dude that knows what he's doing. He knows how to lead me. Okay, most of these guys can't lead, but he can. All right, I'm feeling this dude. That's the type of feelings that you want women to have when they're dealing with you. And if you do all these 6 different things, man, I'm telling you, you're not going to get flaked nearly as much as you may be experiencing right now. And this is stuff that, again, I've helped so many guys solve. A lot of guys were getting flaked on before they joined IB, before they were working with me. But then once they implemented this process and then other aspects of my system that I had in place and receiving my guidance, like, bro, they're filling up their calendars with dates like it's nothing, with attractive women that they're actually into. So if you're tired of getting flaked on by women, if you're tired of setting up with dates with women and they're constantly telling you something came up and they're never like rescheduling with you or anything like that, and you're tired of not having dates filled up in your calendar, but instead you actually want to attract more women that are attractive to you and actually land dates with them where they don't flake on you, but actually they're excited to meet up with you, and you want to have a process in place to make that happen. I break down more in depth, step by step, how I've been able to help a lot of different guys achieve this. And I create a free training that breaks this down more in depth. I'll have a link down below in the description and the pinned comment. So with that being said, if you got a lot of value from this video, please give it a like, subscribe for more videos like this, man. With that being said, I'll talk to you in the next video. Take it easy.